Oh, he's having so much fun, man.
I used to come here with my mother when I was a kid. It was one of my favorite things to do. Now look at it. It's a dump.
Oh.
Megamind is experiencing vicarious empathy, which is when someone starts caring about something because they see its importance through the eyes of someone they care about. Since he always thought he was a villain, he never really cared why people create parks or art. As a matter of fact, that's why he's destroying everything in the beginning, because he never got the benefits of it. He never enjoyed a walk in the park or going to a museum. I mean, the man doesn't even know how to ride a bike, therefore he can't properly appreciate them. They're foreign to him. That's why Roxanne's role is important. She's introducing him to all of these things. Now, vicarious empathy usually starts with perspective taking, where a person imagines how another person perceives the situation. When she's talking about her feelings, he gets empathetic and shares her emotion, you see? But in this scene, as contrast, even though she's pouring her heart out and she's obviously sad, Hal is unable to pick on it and display vicarious empathy, as he's too preoccupied with his own desire for validation, and he's more focused on what he can gain from the situation. Cleaning up.
Well, we don't want to battle our new hero in a dump now, do we?
Really? Megamind got himself into a classic case of cognitive dissonance and role conflict. I mean, what else is new, right? He's trying to be both villain and hero at the same time, but he's trying to keep these roles very well separated too. Minion, symbolizing his moral compass, feels confused. In their world, good is bad and bad is good, so Megamind's actions are at odds with his villain identity. Him lying to Minion is a form of impression management, and is something we do very often in our own self-development journey. Many times when we change, there's a sense of shame towards the people that used to know the old us, but it's all part of the process. In order to grow, you need to get used to the discomfort, because only by resolving your internal conflicts you'll feel free.
They're all back. How?
Why? Yay!
Maybe Megamind isn't so bad after all.
Oh, this comment is Megamind's acknowledgement that his role is changing. We often say things about ourselves or others, and then we wait around and see the response we receive. And the fact that Roxanne doesn't deny his comment makes me think that he's now getting that social validation out of her. Because it's like a confirmation that he is changing. She agrees. Maybe Megamind is not that bad.
Metroman and I were never a couple.
Boom!
I thought you two were...
Everybody did. It's just... Well, he was never really my type.
Really?
And here we have it. Roxanne is the seeker archetype. She values truth, knowledge, justice. Therefore, it makes sense that Metroman was never her type. Metroman took on the role of hero that society imposed on him, yes, but he had plenty of chances to set the record straight and go against the status quo. But ultimately, he decided that being a people pleaser is easier. And you know, people pleasing doesn't get very well with truth seeking. Hence why he never was her type. This also says a lot about society and how transactionally we collectively see love. If Metroman saves Roxanne, it must be because he's romantically interested in her, right? Megamind, on the other hand, not only was labeled a villain, but he never had any chance to redefine himself, which is what he believes Hal experienced as well, and that's why he sees himself in Hal. But now that he has that chance, he's taking full advantage of it. And by doing so, he shows a trait that Metroman doesn't have: real courage for trying to break free from his imposed role. And that's why we love bad boys. They're the definition of breaking the status quo, and that's attractive.
In
School.
None of the other kids really liked me.
How dare they?
I was always the last one picked for everything.
Okay, I need you to pay particular attention to what I'm about to say. Your self-image very often can be resumed in the opinion of a fist of people from your childhood, if you think about it. Megamind thinks his story goes like this: I went to school, and because I'm not a hero, I was treated like shit, and that is right, because I am bad. But realistically speaking, what has happened is that a bunch of entitled, cruel kids, unable of empathy, together with a teacher who didn't give a shit about creating empathy, were led by a kid with an unchecked superiority complex to bully a polite, shy, and extremely kind child, and make him think he is bullied because he deserves it. That's reframing for you. Add to the mix the fact that he was punished when he tried to defend himself, and that's when you have the perfect recipe for trauma. And now I wonder, how different would things have been if Megamind had at least one person in his childhood, like Roxanne? We can't just wonder at this point, but when you feel bad about yourself, I want you to answer this question for me. Are you feeling bad about who you are, or are you feeling bad about what others told you you are?
It's too bad that we didn't go to the same school.
Same. We would have been alone together.
Hal, I think you're ready for this.
I think I'm not.
Hey, what's the T stand for?
Titan.
Terror.
Titan? What's that supposed to mean?
Not
It's
Titan.
the only name I could trademark.
Once again, Megamind sees a lot of himself in Hal, so he's basically giving Hal what he never had. Acceptance, guidance, and kindness. Which is very often what parents do. I want to have a kid so I can give them what I never had. Yeah, rethink that, okay? Megamind has given him powers, a name, costume. He's giving him advice and training. He compliments him. But this is the worst thing that can happen to Hal because he didn't have to fight for it at all, which is exactly why he is stuck in the nice guy archetype. I mean, he didn't even choose to be a superhero. Megamind literally came to his house, and this is a hint to why Hal is the way he is. Very often in life we want to show our love and care by taking away what we consider to be burdens, to spare the people we love pain. We didn't see Hal's childhood because we are seeing it right now. Chances are that Hal grew up in an imperfect family, of course, yes, but with loving parents that thought the best way to show their love is to become an overprotective parent. The reason he's a nice guy is the same reason why Megamind is a villain and Metroman is a hero. As a society, we suck at raising children primarily because we raise them to obey, not to challenge us. That is truly the scariest aspect of society, if you ask me.
Do you have someone special in your life, Hal?
Depends what you mean with that.
Not yet, but there's this really, really good looking one I've got my eye on currently.
You mean you're spying on currently? Okay.
Now you might ask, why would the nice guy be attracted to the seeker? She's intellectual, hangs in libraries and museums, she's outdoorsy, sportsy, and so on. Hal, on the other hand, doesn't seem to be very intellectual. He enjoys video games, stays inside, and seems to lead an overall different lifestyle. So what could they have in common? Nothing, but that's exactly what attracts the nice guy. Let me explain. The nice guy is looking for someone to project onto them the qualities they admire but lack. It's like his story with the ninjas, if you remember. It's obviously unrealistic, but he lives in a fantasy and therefore he seeks a fantasy. If Roxanne would get together with Hal, she'd experience what often women perceive as being too much in their masculine, meaning she'd have to compensate for Hal's passivity. In healthy relationships, things are more or less equal. If I cook today, you cook tomorrow, or if I clean this week, you'll take the next one, and so on. But if you're with someone like Hal, that cannot happen, because the other person never takes charge. Even if they do take charge, it's usually because you ask them. It's like they need a manager to exist, basically. Now, when women say that they're too much in their masculine, what they usually mean is they're experiencing 1, increased responsibility, which obviously will cause loads of pressure and stress. 2, a feeling of dependency because their partner need them to organize the relationship, which is extremely unattractive and impacts the bedroom intimacy. 3, a growing resentment, merely for the fact that she needs to always be in control and she cannot rest. 4, a loss of respect for the partner because they seem to lack ambition and initiative. And 5, they also experience something called gender role strain, which is when an individual is forced to take on roles that go against their preferred tendencies. Such a relationship is like Roxanne having to carry both their backpacks on a hike because he forgot his at home, or in case he forgets his at home. It's exhausting, unfair, and leaves no energy for enjoying the view.
It's very good.
No, it's not.
Romance is very inspiring.
Yeah.
It's right here.
All you
Just
have
not
to
this
do
one.
is save her, and she'll be yours.
Oh. Here, Megamind proves that his idea of heroism is still not developed enough to understand what being a hero really is, which shows the dangers of bad simplistic parenting. Just as Megamind's simplistic advice can lead Hal astray, simplistic parenting can result in children lacking the deeper understanding needed for complex moral and ethical decisions.
Who wants heroes?
Me! To Titan!
Tomorrow, you will fight Megamind, and the city will know your name.
Unfortunately.